meeting is now locked. We are going to start. Tech for Seniors, June 1st, episode 10. I'm Ron Brown. Hey,
I'm Hewie Poplock.
Hewie Poplock, my co-host, and Bob. Where's Bob there? Bob, our security guy, with our tip today, sponsored by Avast. So we have a great show for you today. Lots of information for you. And so we're going to start with, I'm going to just share my screen. And we'll share the computer sound. Now, there wasn't a huge amount in technology this week as far as news went, but there were a few changes that did occur, and I wanted to just show you on the Google News Reader. Now, I get up every morning and spend a lot of time with Google News. Google News is a news app that occurs. I usually use it as the Android app on my Chromebook, but once a year, Google changes the whole app around, and they did that this week, and they made a couple of really good changes, and I just wanted to show you something that you might be interested in. So this is the Google News app that we have up, and this is an article about Samsung's Access Smartphone Upgrade Program, and there's a bunch of stuff with this, but if you look down here, you'll see it says view full coverage, and we'll right here you can see that in the screen there. And if you bring this up, you now see all the coverage for that article. You'll see not only the news coverage, but you're going to see videos. You'll see a bunch of other related articles. You'll see the Twitter feed, anything coming in on Twitter, and then you'll see all the other related articles surrounding that topic. So Google really expanded the information regarding the topic. Now, to get to the news feed, to get your news app on, I usually use the Android app, so you can just download that. But if you come over here, if we just bring up another screen, and you come over to the little 9-dot window, you'll come down here, and here's the news feed. You should be able to see that right. I guess down. The second thing that happened this week was Gmail changed a bit. So this is a little video here, and if you go to your Gmail and you go to your inbox settings, look at the settings here, and if you go to inbox, you'll now see a new menu that comes up. And if you click on the multiple inboxes, you're going to see all sorts of options now that you can turn on, and you can have multiple inboxes in your Gmail. This is brand new, just came out the last couple of days. I'm going to do a video on it and show you guys later, but I just want to let everybody know that it's there, and you might want to play around with it and have some fun with it. It's an interesting change that they've made. The other thing, let me just get out of there. The other thing that that happened this week, we'll do this one here. This is YouTube made some changes, and they brought out a product called YouTube Chapters. And I just want to play the video and show you how this works.
YouTube officially released video chapters this week. Creator timestamps from their video descriptions now automatically turn into video chapters in the progress bar. This feature will be available on the desktop, Android, and iOS version. They will only appear when creators add timestamps data to their description starting with position 00:00. Let me show you an example in a video that I just made. You'll see in the description here, I've shown the timestamps that I've made starting with 00:00. These are the chapters that I've engaged in the video. If we go up, we will now see the timeline, and you will see as I run my cursor along the timeline, you will see the different sections that are named. Clicking on those sections will take you immediately to the location. The real cool thing is that the timeline markers that are on the timeline here are automatically created from the timestamp in the description. So in this example, I'm playing the video in the section called Organizing Your Smartphone. I move my cursor along the line and come back and want to see the security talk by Bob. I can simply click on this and it takes me right to the security talk. Another example would be as if I'm in the smartphone talk and I want to move to the security talk. I can scroll down and simply come over here and click on the time 9:14 to go right to the security talk.
And share your screen.
And there we are in the security talk. Ron Brown with Silvercom Computer and Technology Club. Video chapters by YouTube.
So I'll just unshare my screen now. So you'll find now that's a new feature that you can put into your YouTube videos. Now I know a lot of you aren't YouTube creators, but those of you who are, it's a very simple way of putting a stamp in. Now you'll see in our Tech for Seniors, all like last week's video, I put that in there. So if you want to find out, the problem with a lot of times in the videos is you don't know where if you want to go back and look at something again, you don't know where it is. So all that you have to do is run your cursor along that timeline and it'll tell you exactly what's playing. I think that's so cool. That really is a big feature. And then if you just look in the description below and click any of those links, it'll take you right into the video where you want to be. So it's a new feature that they just brought out this week, and we're going to have that in all our Tech for Seniors videos if you want to go back and look at them. Okay, Bob, you ready to go? Take it away.
A grandmother posting Facebook photos of her grandchildren violates GDPR privacy rule. A grandmother in the Netherlands has up until this weekend to remove photos of her grandchildren from her Facebook page, or she'll face daily fines after a judge found she was violating the European Union's strict online privacy rules. My question is, how long till this kind of privacy law reaches our country? Avast analyzed 100 political candidate websites during the 2018 midterm election and found widespread use of tracking. The suggestion to protect your privacy when visiting a candidate site is to use a secure browser like Tor or the Avast Secure Browser. You might also consider using Privacy Badger or Avast's Anti-Track or a VPN. If you're using your phone, realize that it contains a lot of personal information that could be harvested. Trend Micro was accused of cheating Microsoft's Windows Hardware Quality Labs certification. An 18-year-old computer security student was researching methods of detecting rootkits when he came across Trend Micro's Rootkit Buster for Windows PCs. While reverse engineering Trend's rootkit hunting tool and its kernel mode drive, he found some shortcomings in the code and publicly documented them. Details are on his blog. Should you really trust the Apple Google contact tracing app? Potential abuses abound. Political leaders pursue mixed agendas. It's what they do. Apple and Google reward their shareholders. It's what they do. With so many moving parts needed to come together, the temptation to tilt toward the familiar could prove to be irresistible. And even if the design of the contact tracing app stays very, very basic, there are the social media trolls to consider, according to Ambu Hunar. Life isn't perfect, And this app wouldn't be either. 26 million live journal credentials are for sale on the dark web. Rumors that a massive live journal hack occurred several years ago were proven true this week as 26 million stolen credentials from the popular online journaling platform went up for sale on the dark web. Change your password and do it now. Of course, LiveJournal parent company, Rambler Group, still has not confirmed that breach. Please note, Microsoft has discovered some problems with its latest release, version 2004. You'll find details on the website listed. If you aren't sure whether these problems affect your system, it's best to wait before you do the update. On a personal note, I've had no problems with this update on the 4 computers I maintain at home. Stay safe. That's all for this week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Love that. Thanks, Bob. Great job. Hewie, you're on.
I am about to be ready here. And you should see my Feedly on the screen. And what I'm showing you is, and Ron and I were talking, and he was talking about his Google News, and I said, well, I get my news every day too, but I get it a different way. I pick and choose what news I want to read from what sources. I don't think, Ron, you can do that with the Google News. Can you? Can you say what sources that news is it, or what topics? I see they're over there, and you can press the button for them, but can you limit it?
You can.
Okay, because I have 100. Let's see. I looked at it yesterday. I think it's 115 sources that I chose, and those are the only ones that it looks at. This is called Feedly, and it's for feeds from web pages, usually blogs. And you can see over here on the left, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you without it going away. Yeah, there we go. You can see that I have different topics, and I can set these up any way I want, but under tech software, and then 13 more sources. Chromebooks, I've got a bunch with 9 more sources. The numbers over here are how many new articles since yesterday. When Ron and I were talking, I cleared all of my sources and cleared all of the articles. And I only show the ones I haven't looked at or haven't read or haven't marked as read. And so since yesterday, there's 580 articles. I'm not going to read 580 articles, but what I do is I go down the list. But let's go down to, let's see, which one did I choose to look at? The Windows Club, I think, was the one. Right, and here's one article that says how to manage notification settings. So if I click on that, it will show me either parts of the article and or a picture, or sometimes it'll show the whole article, but then it says visit the website. I click on that, it opens up a new tab, I hope. No, it didn't. So I should have, yeah, I did. Okay, it is a new tab, and it's showing me the actual article. And then what I do is if this article, as it comes in, if, oh, yeah, this is an article I want to read later, or I want to keep this information, I use Evernote, and I store my notes and things that I find online. And I actually have a video up there that is geared towards Evernote, but how I use Feedly with it. So this is what I talk about in that video. But when I click to get it to Evernote, and I pay for the service. Feedly is free, but if you want some extras, there is a cost to it, and I do pay for that. So I can do this. It says, okay, save the clip, and here's the whole article marked if I want to save it that way, or I can have a simple article, and it really leaves out a lot of things. I say save the clip. It's saving my clip to Evernote. It's syncing it. So it's now on the cloud, and I'm done with it, and I can then close this up, and I'm back in my Feedly. And so I can keep looking at articles like that, go through them, pick out the ones I want. But as I get to the bottom of the topic, I just say mark all as read. I click that. It goes to the next one, and all of these are ones I haven't read. Now, and I only show, and by choice in Feedly, what articles I haven't read. You can have it so it shows all of them, but I only show the ones I haven't read, and I can either click it here or I can come down here and mark all is read. And so once I click on one of these and look at it, the next time I go back to Tiny Hacker, it's not going to be there, even if I don't click anything else. So sometimes, but I can go back and look at all of Tiny Hacker's articles if I wanted to. And they get, right now, they're signed up, they get about 73 articles a week. And so I choose several different sources, and I love Feedly. I have an app on my Chromebook and on my phone for it, so I can look at Feedly wherever I am. They do all connect to my Evernote, so I can save the articles and read them later. So all I do is I look at the headlines. If it looks like it might be interesting, I take a little longer look, and then I save it and I read it later. And that's how I do my news.
You know, Hewie, I started using it since we had this chat, and I really like Feedly. I think it's a good, it really is a good news reader. Bob, do you use Feedly?
I changed to Feedly when Google discontinued their news reader. This is the one that's closest to what Google used to give you.
Yeah, that's the sort of the old style and I like that. I really do. So yeah, I might change to Feedly. That's interesting, eh?
And you can pick what newspapers you like, and just get their feeds and add them in there, so you don't have to look at a lot of news you're not interested in too.
Yeah, and it's an Android app too. It's also an extension as well in Chrome, eh?
I don't know if it's an extension. No, I just go to the website in the Chrome and that's just a website.
Right.
And there is an app for iOS, and there's one for Android.
Yeah, cool. So that's a good option, and the free version is free. So unless you want the paid, do you know what's the paid? What's the advantage of the paid?
Yeah, the biggest advantage for me is the fact that it does connect easily to Evernote.
Evernote, okay.
Yeah, and I've got almost 16,000 notes in my Evernote.
Right.
How many you got in Keep? Do you know?
Tens of thousands. I mean,
you're really okay.
Right? Yeah. There's lots. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Hewie. Sorry. Thanks, Hewie. Excellent. All right. So I'm just going to share my screen again, and we'll share the computer sound. And we will come back here.
Ron, in your previous videos, there was a lot of background static.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that I did do is I redid this video I'm going to be showing you today, and I took the sound out. We had a lot of complaints about the videos, of course, I make and I put on YouTube. They have background sound, but the background sound gets amplified when you're going through, when you're doing it on a Zoom meeting. So it's annoying. So I actually redid this video and took out the background sound. So there should be no background sound. This video is the follow-up, the second part of organizing your smartphone. I do a lot of tech support work at Silveridge, and I often see people, they've got such disorganized phones, and they've never deleted any apps. They don't put them in folders, and it just drives me nuts. So I thought I'd going to do this video on how to organize your smartphone. And you saw part one last week, and so this week will be part two. So here we go, without video, without audio, or without music.
Now this is my home page, and I wanted to go over the way I've designed and set it up. Again, there is no correct way to do this. This is a personal choice, but this is how I've done it. I wanted to draw your attention to two things before we look at the folders. On the top left-hand corner, you're going to see a widget, and this is, we'll talk about widgets in a minute, but this tells me how much data I have used on my data plan for my cell phone. And this dynamically changes all the time. I also have a widget down in my phone section, and I'm going to demonstrate how that will work for making a call to my friend Byron. So let's see about the folders that I have. Oh, before we do that, I also have an emergency locator called My GPS Coordinates here, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. So this is how I've designed my my home page on my phone. So let's have a look and see how it's done. So at the top, you'll see I have maps. I have my shopping apps, which of course is great. I have the Google Play Store, which I keep that as a single app. I have my security apps, my photo apps, then LastPass and my contacts, which are not in folders, health apps, Google Apps, which there are a lot of these, and watch, there's 2 pages. So even though they're in a folder, we can still have 2 pages. Financial apps, medical apps, restaurant apps. Some I haven't used restaurant apps lately. Darn it anyway. My podcast apps, my news app, and my phone apps. Authy is an app I use for 2-factor authentication. It generates the security codes for my 2-factor authentication. I want to talk about my GPS coordinates. This shows me my latitude and longitude should I get into an emergency situation. Let's see how this works. When I click on the app, it displays my latitude and my longitude. It then connects me into Google Maps and identifies exactly where my location is. This is a very good app to have on your home page because it allows for quick access of your latitude and longitude in case of an emergency. Now I want to show you the value of a widget. What are widgets? Widgets are simply part of the apps that you download. So when you download an app and install it on your smartphone, it may have one or more widgets associated with it. These are add-on programs that the developers have put there to make your experience with that app much better. Not all apps have widgets, and they don't really tell you whether they do have widgets or not. Sometimes it's in the program description when you download them, but a lot of times you just have to go and look in the widgets menu and see if there's a widget associated with your app. I would encourage you to do that because these widgets make your life so much easier. For example, I like to call my friend Byron lots, and I use an app called Duo. This is an excellent communication tool that works on iPhones and iOS and also Android. There's a widget associated with it, and with that you can create an icon for the person that you want to call. And the person who I often want to call is my friend Byron. And you will see that there's an icon here with Byron's picture in, and this is a widget. And it's made for the Duo app, and watch what happens when I click on the widget. I'm clicking on the widget now. It's going to connect with a video call. And here's my friend Byron, and we're going to have a chat. Now, if I hadn't used the widget, I'd have to open Duo up. I would have to then go into my contact list. I'd have to find Byron and then call him. But by using the widget, it allowed me just to click on that, and it immediately put through the call to Byron. And that's the advantage of using a widget. The example we're going to use today are 3 widgets associated with Google Drive. You'll see the widgets. This is the widget menu. On the left here, you'll see that when we come down, you'll see that in the widget menu, you'll see that it's Google Drive, and under Google Drive, you'll see that there are 3 widgets that you can make, and we're going to talk about these widgets. Unfortunately, there's nothing really written about it, so you have to sort of just try them and see how they work. The first widget is the one on the left here, and that makes this long black banner here on your screen. If you make the widget, this widget here, it makes the long black banner, and this allows you easy access to your Google Drive features. So it is a productivity screen. Now, the second widget that you can make is this one, and I call this one your camera widget. It allows you to select a folder that you want to take a picture and store in Google Drive. And in this particular situation, I've created a widget so that anything I take a picture of will go right into my medical folder in Google Drive. I don't have to select any folders. The third widget that I'm going to demonstrate is the one to the right here. And in this situation, it does the same thing as the widget to the left does, but it goes into the folder mode and then takes the picture. And I'm going to demonstrate this now for you. And you can see how this would just be so much faster. This is how we're going to add a widget. So we come up to the widgets menu, and again we're going to scroll down until we find Google Drive, the Google Drive app, and here are the 3 widgets. And so you have the option now of making any of those 3 widgets. I'm not going to go through that now, of any 3 widgets that you wanted to make. So let's see how these work when we're actually using them. This is, but before we get into that, I'm just going to make a folder and put both these widgets in it. So again, this is how we make a folder. I'm going to drag the 2 of them together. And in this case, I'm going to call it receipts, because we're going to store our medical receipts in these folders. And again, we've made a folder called receipt, and we put both our widgets in, and we're going to drag Google Drive down, and we're going to stick it in the same folder. So let's see how we would upload to Google Drive then. So if we have a receipt and we want to use this, We are going to use the, in this example, I'm going to use the one which I call the camera one. And this is where we take the picture and it's going to automatically upload it into Google Drive. So we're going to have the medical receipt and we want to put it into a medical folder on Google Drive. We've made a widget and it's going to take it and we've labeled it and it's going to move it up into Google Drive for us automatically by clicking this button. Very simple to do. Let's see how we do this. So now it brings, once we click the widget, it brings up the camera. We take a picture of it. There's the picture, and we're going to say save, and you'll see your file is being uploaded to Google Drive. So now you'll see your receipt will be filed in the medical folder in Google Drive. Isn't that slick? It's so easy to do. Now let's look at the one where it is the folder icon, and let's see how it works. And we're going to choose the other widget that we made, and it's going to bring up the folder first, but we're not going to have to select that folder, but we are going to say scan it, and we're going to click the scan button, and then it's going to take a picture, and we're going to save it, and you can see it's being uploaded into Google Drive. The advantage of doing it that way is it gives you an option to change the folder if you want. So again, both widgets have some functionality, and you have to decide which one would work best for you.
So I'm just going to stop this. So I'm just going to stop it there. Can everyone hear me? Is that okay? You can hear me? So I'm going to just stop it there because I want to give Hewie lots of time for his video that he's done. You can watch the full YouTube video on that. I posted the link last week, and I'll send it out again this week. It'll be in the description of the Tech for Seniors, and there's a lot of information in that in the YouTube video, and you can play it back and forth again. And I'm going to put a timeline on there, so if you want to know how to make a folder, you want to know how to do certain things, do things with widgets, it'll all be on the timeline for you. So you can have a look at that, and it's a good reference video for you. So hope you enjoyed that. Hewie, take her away.
All right. Make sure I got sound. And we're going to talk about Chrome browser keyboard shortcuts. And I do mention in this article that just because you aren't using Chrome browser, a lot of these shortcuts will work for you. And if you have a Mac, just in most cases, substitute the control with the command key. Let's go ahead and watch this. Hello, I'm Hewie Poplock. Today I'm going to be talking about some Chrome browser keyboard shortcuts. The Chrome browser often requires multiple clicks or disruption to browsing to navigate pages and tabs or access key features. Whether it's quickly opening features such as incognito mode, clearing history and cache, opening new pages, or just navigating what's already open. There's a lot of movement required between the keyboard and the mouse or the trackpad. However, Chrome keyboard shortcuts can make life a lot easier for just about any user, particularly where productivity is concerned. Now, these shortcuts apply solely to the Chrome iterations that utilize a keyboard. I will be talking about Windows keyboard shortcuts, but many are the same on similar devices that use either the Chrome OS or Linux. If you have a Mac, most of these shortcuts are the same by simply replacing the control key with your command key. Please check to make sure. If you use another browser, check to see what shortcuts it uses. So let's take a look at some of the most useful Chrome shortcuts. Quick Launch Incognito. Sometimes it's just a good idea to launch into incognito mode. It won't stop certain entities, like your service provider or the boss, from seeing activity, but it does prevent cookies from saving long-term and can be helpful when it comes to letting others access their own accounts. That's especially true for users who are already logged into Chrome. Going into incognito sets aside the troublesome steps required to sign out while simultaneously preventing history or accounts linking over to the signed-in account. To get into incognito mode in Chrome on the desktop, you press and hold the Control key and the Shift key before pressing the End key. Using that set of keys being pressed at once will immediately open up an incognito window, and let's take a look at that. So I'm going to hold the Control, Shift, and touch the End key, and it will open up the incognito mode. Search with a Chrome shortcut. It's easy enough to jump straight to the URL Omnibox from anywhere in Chrome with the keyboard. That's easier than using the mouse to click the bar, which can be a serious interruption to the workflow or just browsing in general. To move directly to the URL Omnibox to perform a search or navigate to a new page, you hold down the Control key and press L. That puts the focus on the Omnibox, allowing users to just type in the search or website URL without ever having to touch the mouse or the trackpad. Open up the most recently closed tab in Chrome. Now, it isn't at all uncommon that you'll close a tab by accident or discover shortly after closing it that it's still needed. If you know this shortcut for reopening recently closed tabs, it's still possible to get those back. This doesn't work for tabs that are closed out in previous sessions or in the incognito mode, but this should work just about everywhere else. It can even be used sometimes to reopen all of the tabs after Chrome crashes. The tabs reopen in the order that they were closed, so we're going to close 3 tabs to find out if this works, and we'll find out. So we just closed 3 tabs. Now, to do this, you'll hold down the Control key, the Shift key, and then tap T for each one you want to reopen. So we'll do 1, and there it is. I'll do it one more time. And we'll do one more. And that was the last article. So those are the 3 articles that we closed, and we were able to reopen them very easily by using Control, Shift, and T. Go to History. Sometimes a tab will be closed and then needed again later on. Depending upon when the tab was first opened, that might be easy enough to find using the History tool in the 3-dot menu. But for older tabs, a deeper look at the history of tabs is going to be needed. Now, that isn't necessarily going to be the best solution either. You have the option of using the keyboard shortcuts. If you hold down the Control key and then press the H key, let's do that, Control and H. That'll open up a new tab with the history page already loaded. From there, you can use either the arrow keys or the mouse to navigate the history user interface. So you can go down and you can delete or see where you've been, and you can go down and up and find whatever you want in your history. Go to Downloads. Sometimes it's difficult to locate a previously downloaded file or image. In those cases, as long as the image hasn't been deleted entirely, there is an easy way to get back to the download. And this method also works just as a way to check or delete what's been downloaded, or at least in terms of its visibility as a download. Keyboard shortcuts can be used here. So first, press and hold down the Control key and then tap the J key. And this will load up the downloads interface. And let's do that. Control and J. And you will see all of your downloads. If they were deleted or moved to another folder, it will say deleted. But some of them will still be there as well, and you can click on them and go to them or show them in the folder, whatever you want to do. But all of your downloads are listed, so you can find them this way so you can see where they are just by showing in folder. Open a new tab or window. If you want to open a new tab or window, there's an easy way to accomplish that with keystrokes. That makes it easier to open new tabs without having to reach for the mouse or the trackpad and either open up a three-dot menu or click the plus icon. The same can be said for opening a new window, since sometimes it's a pain to keep too many tabs in one frame. So hold down the Control key and then tap the N on your keyboard. So let's do that. Control N opens a new window. And you can see that that's a different window. And then if we want to open a new tab, you hold the Control key down and open T, and you get a new tab. And you can open up another tab if you want. When Chrome stops responding properly or needs to be reset, there are shortcuts for that. This Chrome shortcut isn't like the other shortcuts so much as it is a way to relaunch Chrome without losing progress. It also serves along the same lines as a way to accomplish that without having to use the mouse. And that's going to be useful for those of you who build up a lot of browser data, similarly finding themselves needing to restart often. Using the shortcut to move the focus of the page to the search or URL omnibox, you have to press Control L. When you do, it puts the focus on your URL omnibox. Then, namely, you must then type in Chrome://restart and then hit Enter. So that's what you want to type in, and then you hit Enter. And then it restarts Chrome. So this time, however, the browser will restart itself, keeping the tabs intact so you can easily fix any errors or restart the Chrome browser instead of simply opening each page all over again. Jump from tab to tab, backward or forward. When you have a bunch of tabs open, it can be difficult to navigate between them. When there are so many tabs that new ones don't appear in the tab bar, instead they're tucked off to the side behind the plus-shaped icon. You could simply close tabs you don't need, but that's not always ideal. Chrome users can also use the keyboard to navigate to the next and previous tab instead. Windows users will need to start by pressing and holding the Control tab and then page down, Control tab and then page down, and you go to the beginning, or you go forward, and you can go through each of your tabs. If you do the Control page up, it goes in the other direction. Now let's go to the end again. Now another trick that you can do is Control plus a number 1 through 8. So if you do a Control and the number 1, it will take you to the first tab. If you do Control and the number 5, it'll take you to the 5th tab. But you can only do this for the first 8. So we'll go to number 8, and it's there. If you count the tabs, there's 8 of them. Now, if I do a Control and a 9, watch what it does. It goes all the way to the end. So anything between 8 and the end, you can't get to by doing that. But this works fine. Bookmark a page or get to the bookmark manager. I use the bookmark bar to get to most of my most used sites, but that can get in the way and it doesn't always show every bookmarked page. Also, it can be a pain to use the mouse to set a new bookmark. Chrome has keyboard shortcuts for all of that. How to hide or reveal the bookmark bar is set on a toggle. So the same command can be used to both show the UI when it's hidden and to hide it when it's getting in the way. And to do that, you press the Control Shift and B and it goes away. Control Shift, remember it's a toggle, so Control Shift and B again brings it back. Control Shift B removes it. Control Shift B then puts it back. Now, to add an open page or pages to the bookmarks is straightforward from the keyboard too. To do so, hold the Control key down and pressing D will bookmark the current page. Control D. And it's ready to put that tab as a bookmark. I am not going to do it. I'm going to close it. But now, if you want to, if you add the shift to the bookmarks, bookmarks all of the open tabs. In other words, if you hold down Control Shift and then press D, you'll bookmark all the tabs. And then finally, you can press the Control and Shift before pressing O to open up the Bookmarks Manager. If you do a Control, Shift, and O, it opens up the Bookmark Manager, and you can do any editing, changing, whatever you want to do to work within the Bookmark Manager. Clear your Chrome browsing data. There are times that, for whatever reason, items end up in the history that users would rather not appear there. Clearing browsing data is the proper solution, but that always isn't an easy page to find. It takes a significant number of clicks to get to it. Chrome makes getting there with a keyboard fairly simple. Holding Control and Shift before pressing Delete will launch that feature at its page. Control, Shift, and Delete. It then goes to your settings page, finds the page for clearing your browsing history. Now this right now is on advanced, and I can delete my cookies, my browsing history, my download history if I wanted to check those. There are some, and then under basic, I can delete the browsing history, the cookies and other data site, cached images, just click the clear data and that all goes away. I'm not going to do that, but I just wanted to show you how you could. Now it does say, because I am syncing with another computer, to clear browsing data from this device only while keeping it in your Google account, you have to sign out of the Google account. Closing down the currently active tab. When you don't want to minimize the window, it's simple enough to shut down the currently active tab completely. That's especially useful when so many tabs are opened up that the X on the tab can't be pressed to close the page. But it works just as well when users would rather not use the mouse, saving some time for the sake of productivity. To close the tab that's currently active, you can simply press the Control key, and then while it's pressed, you tap the W key. Control and then W and that window closes. If you want, or that tab closes. If you want to close the next one as well, you do it one more time. It's that simple. That's it.
Thank you, Hewie. That was very good. Now, a lot of you probably are watching that, and they'll want to go back and rewatch that again. So again, Hewie has made that into a YouTube video. I think you put timestamps on it too, didn't you?
I did, and so there are chapters, so you can go to each of the any particular of the shortcuts that you want to take a look at. Again, you can look at just that one without having to
Exactly.
find your way through the whole video.
So it will, so that the information will be available in Tech for Seniors in this video as well. But if you look in the descriptions below, the links to all the other videos that we've shown you today will be in the descriptions as well. So you can just click on those, and it will take you right to the area you want to go.
Ron, for everybody's information, if they haven't noticed, when they go to YouTube, all of the Tech for Seniors recordings, this particular recording that I have, and some of the other recordings that are out there, all have closed captioning. And if you click the little button that says closed captioning, it's pretty close to being accurate, and it's all done automatically by YouTube, by Google.
Right. So in closing now, because we only have, gee, these hours go by so fast each week. Darn it, anyway.
Well, we started 2 minutes late, so we can go 2 minutes after.
Oh, okay, all right. So next week we have you don't have to listen to a couple of old guys all next week, all right? And basically we've got Michael Daniels is going to be our guest speaker on the show next week. Michael is a friend of Hewie's and mine. Michael is a 6-time platinum tech support specialist for Google, which means he's risen to the platinum level on tech support. And he not only, most people do this for one application, he's done it for 6 applications. So he is an extremely knowledgeable fella. He has his own Wednesday afternoon, Tinkering with Tech. He has his own show, which is extremely popular. He does workshops all week, and he did a Camtasia workshop that Hewie and I attended last weekend, and it was excellent. So he is going to be the guest speaker next week. Hewie and I will be here. Hewie, you'll be back next week, eh, Hewie?
Absolutely.
And I'll be back. And Bob, are you with us for next week? Turn your mic on there. You got your mic off.
Bob's muted, but he's talking away.
Trust me, he'll be.
Yes, I am.
Bob will be with us. Now, Bob has, in closing, Bob has created another inspirational video for us. This is on being the benefits of getting older. And that's something I thought that we could close with. It's actually very good. And what we'll do is the same as the same as last time. Is we're going to say goodbye now. Bob's going to play the video, and at the very end, I'll just log everybody out. So that will be the end of the show. So Bob, you can start sharing your screen now, and we'll get the video going. And thank you, everyone, for coming. We will
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, we'll see you all. We'll see you all next week. Stay safe and have a good
Older,
week.
so what does it mean? It means you have more wisdom to pass along. It means you get to sleep longer each day. It means you can... Getting older, so what does it mean? It means you have more wisdom to pass along. It means you get to sleep longer each day. It means you can take a nap in the afternoon. It means you have no time restrictions. It means you're free to help others. It means you have more memories to share. And here are just a few of those memories. Do you know what this is? Do you know how to use this? What's the connection between these two objects? Did you ever ride one of these? Do you know what to do with these? Do you know what this is? Have you ever shopped at this store? Do Do you know how to play with these? Do you recognize who this is? Do you know their names? Have you ever had a glass of this? Did you own one of these? Did you ever take this class in school? Do you know what's hanging from the chain or running up the pole? Have you ever seen or used one of these? Do you know what these are? Have you used this? Have you ever played this game? Did you or your mom ever have one of these? Was there ever a time in your life when this was the only option to dry your clothes? What's the connection between these two objects? Is this a familiar scene? Does this bring back good memories? Did he ever come to your house? Did you ever have to say hello before you actually knew who was calling you? Did you ever laugh out loud while watching this? Those of us who were born in the 30s through the 60s are the last generation who played in the street. During our childhood, we walked over a mile a day when we played, and we played hide and seek outside at night with no worries or fear of anything bad happening to us. We are the first generation who played video games and the last to record songs off the radio onto a cassette tape. We learned how to program a VCR before anyone else. We were the first to play from Atari to Nintendo. We are the last generation of Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Captain Kangaroo. We traveled in cars without seatbelts, airbags, lived without cell phones and caller ID. We did not have fax machines, flat screens, surround sound, iPods, Facebook, Twitter, computers, or the internet. And through it all, we had a great time. We may be old in years, but if you're like me, we are still young at heart. Keep your mind busy and your body active. That's one way to make each day worth living. Get involved. Help others. The rewards are immeasurable. Thank you and enjoy getting older.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye now.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody. We'll see everybody next week. Have a great
Bye. Be
week.
safe.
Thanks, Bob, for doing that. That's great. We'll see everybody next Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.